About 1.5 years ago, Dude Perfect announced that they were going to build a crazy $100 million theme park that would also be their new headquarters, and they said they had it completely modeled out and it was designed by a proper company called Overland Partners. However, 1.5 years later, there is very little progress on the construction of this park as they haven't even figured out a location to put it at. And just by looking at their channel, it is seeming more and more unlikely that this will actually be a thing. Back when they made the announcement, they were pulling tens of millions of views with every video. However, now it has been 4 months since the last time they hit that on a single video, and they have even started making fully AI generated thumbnails. Now, the content itself is still good, however, it is no secret that it isn't performing as well as it used to, and this has just put their theme park in jeopardy. But they have also announced that they're going on another tour next year, so surely things can't be that bad, right? Well, today we'll just be looking at this and seeing what is going to happen with the $100 million theme park and whether or not it will actually come to life. So the first thing we need to look at is just what the whole purpose of this thing is going to be and why they're even making it. Now, according to their announcement video, this is something that has been in the works for a couple of years, which is obviously a really long time. However, Dude Perfect has been getting less and less popular over these years, and that is to be expected, and it is bound to happen with any channel, especially ones that have been posting for as long as they have. However, the real target audience for this Dude Perfect park is just the core fans of the channel that have been watching for a long time and are willing to support the channel financially and do more than simply watching the videos. And with how big Dude Perfect is, they have a massive audience of people that will be willing to go to this park, and it would undoubtedly attract people that may not even know who Dude Perfect is. And a reason for this is because this isn't some ordinary theme park, and it's really just something completely unique, meaning there wouldn't be a lot of competition. This park will contain just a bunch of cool interactive stuff to do where you are getting involved and actually playing these games and trying to make the trick shots and just the cool stuff that Dude Perfect does in their videos. The whole point of the park is to make the videos just come to life and be something that people can experience for themselves. This is what makes it just stand out from any other theme park, and it means that they essentially have no competition, which is one of the biggest problems when it comes to business. Also, the other purpose for this park will be for the new headquarters of the company and where they will most likely film their videos, meaning it will directly impact the channel and lead to revenue for that, meaning they wouldn't have to rely on just having people buy tickets in order to make money for this whole thing, though that would definitely be a really important part of it. So we have seen what this park is about and why it is being created, and so far everything seems fine, and this just sounds good on paper since this park will serve multiple purposes and just make revenue in multiple different ways, which will just help keep it running. And it doesn't seem like Dude Perfect's declining viewership is a big deal because they still have a massive core audience, and this park does appeal to a lot more people, though that could change if it ends up taking like 10 years for this thing to be done. And that kind of brings me to the next factor, and that's just the overall design of the park. Obviously, when you look at it, you can notice that it just looks very futuristic, and honestly looks like every other futuristic render you see of future cities and things like that. And I'm no architect or engineer, however, I think that this design is really complex and it will take a lot longer to construct, especially considering they haven't even started yet. This could really cause them to just be too late, and that wouldn't be good. And the main part in all of this would obviously be the giant 300-foot tower, which just looks absolutely incredible. I have no doubt that this is possible to build, however, I just think this could cost them a lot when it comes to time and money that it just wouldn't be worth it. From my understanding, it's more for decoration, and the only main part is at the top where you throw basketballs off of it, but other than that, it doesn't really serve a purpose other than being the wow factor. And the tower itself also may lead to issues when it comes to finding a place to build a park, and something like this wouldn't fit into the middle of nowhere. However, it also just wouldn't fit that well into most American cities because the design is just different, and the height of the tower may also cause some issues when it comes to regulations as well as just blending in with the rest of the city. In my opinion, I think that this park would fit the best into Austin if you're looking at just cities in Texas, since Dude Perfect said it would be ideal if they could be in Texas. I have been to all the major cities in Texas, and I say that Austin fits this the best because that seems to be the most modern city, and there is also plenty of space around the city to put this park, and I think it will fit in the best over there. However, we just have to see what Dude Perfect ends up picking, and it would also depend on whether or not Austin even wants this park in their city. If everything works out, then I think this could work pretty well, however, only time will tell. But the final factor we really need to look at is the money side, since that is obviously the most important, and I've talked a little bit about it earlier in the video, but I just want to talk about it more. So the main point to talk about when it comes to money is the price tag of $100 million. There is no doubt in my mind that Dude Perfect is worth well over $100 million, however, I'm not sure just how worthwhile this would be. And the $100 million is also on the low end since I assume that is just the cost of construction. I assume it doesn't include the cost of the land that they're going to build on, and with big construction projects they're almost always over budget. Plus there would just be the immense amount of bills and salaries that they're going to have to pay in order to keep this place functional, and it would be way more than what they're currently paying as their current headquarters aren't even comparable to this. Despite it being a really cool concept, I just think the biggest issue is with the money, since $100 million is just a ton, and there is no saying how much longer Dude Perfect can go on for and will go on for, since they all have their own families and everything to take care of, and they will end up having to stop sooner or later. And speaking of that, I realized that I actually lied earlier. The biggest problem isn't with the money, it is actually with time. Something like this will take years to build, and I don't think Dude Perfect has all that time. The only way I think this could really be successful is if the theme park wasn't built entirely on the Dude Perfect brand, and instead if it was like a collaboration where Dude Perfect was just a big part of it, but the brand itself was different. This way, I think the park will have more longevity and will be able to actually make a profit. And overall, I do think that this is a cool concept, but I just don't think Dude Perfect has the time to pull it off themselves, and that is probably why this will never actually be a thing. I would really love to see it happen, however I just don't think it will. And I really do hope that this video ages badly, however we will just have to wait and see, and I'll see all of you in the next video.